So after my accident, I did not have a positive experience trying to get a prosthetic built until I had ran into Peeples Prosthetics, and that's when everything turned around. And he got me back on track to living life like I did before my accident, honestly. On October 25th, 2014, and that's when this other guy in the grain cart came on the radio and said, "Hey, I got a fire on this tractor. Does anybody have a fire extinguisher?" He was unloading on the road under power lines like we've done a million times. One of them happened to be lower than he probably judged, and it was arcing off the auger of the power line. I was the closest guy to the grain cart that was smoking when this happened. So I hurried up and drove my combine to the side, rushed over there, and did see smoke coming off one of the tires, but it was on the opposite side of the tractor. But when I stepped over the hitch, I didn't know it was an electrical fire that caused it from it arcing off that power line up high. And that's when my life changed forever. When I touched the grain cart with my left hand, I touched the ladder to high step the hitch. It burned through all four of my tendons and it locked me on there. So one of the other guys that was in the other combine named Les I think he came in from the right angle and saw the auger was in the power lines, and then he'd seen that I'd been getting shocked. So he was rushing over there. He went and grabbed the scoop shovel, ran to me, hooked my shoulder, ripped me off the current. And so that saved my life. He saved my life, and I'm sure God had a little bit to do with that. But as a result of the burns, they amputated my left leg above the knee, and then my right leg is amputated right below my knee. I had a lot of people around me that were positive. A lot of friends came and visited me in the hospital. I'm so thankful for that because they made the world's of difference for me to get through it. I don't know how somebody could ever get through a life-changing event or injury like this just by yourself. I had a lot of support from my community. And so it was when I was home and didn't have as many visitors that I was starting to really question. I was in a wheelchair and all day long, and I was starting to question, am I even going to be able to do anything again I used to be able to do? Am I going to be able to walk? Am I going to be able to work again and make a living for my family and support my family? And I didn't have a positive, life-changing experience until I met Steve, the owner of Peeples Prosthetics. You talk about a positive guy. I mean, we sat down after he got me in there, and right out the bat, he's saying, "Well, what do you want to do?" And I'm thinking, well, honestly, I just want to be able to walk again because I still haven't walked. I still never had a prosthetic made for my left side. And he's like, "Well, yeah, we're going to get you walking, but what do you want to do?" I said, "Well, I'd like to be able to farm again, kind of like I did before, run equipment." And I said, "I know I won't be able to do the stuff in the shop I did, the mechanic work." And he said, "No." He's like, "Why would you say that?" He's like, "You'll be able to do everything you did before. We're going to get you right back to the same life you had before." And I was like, "What? This sounds too good to be true." When I went there, it was honestly like therapy for me. It was the best therapy I had because he gave me hope and he told me about all these other people he had helped out. Once he got my prosthetic made for my left side, it started out slow, little baby steps, but I'll never forget the first time I stood and how amazing that felt. Before I know it, he's got me walking without a walker and then without a cane, and my prosthetics just felt so great. When he saw the prosthetic that was built at the other place, he'd point out all the things that were wrong and why it hurt my knee to put that one on. And one thing with Steve was he would listen to you. It didn't matter if it was running close to the end of the day. He knew that if you weren't happy or if it didn't feel right, he knew that we needed to get something scheduled to get it right. He wanted to make sure at the end of the day the fit and finish was the way it needed to be and that you were happy. So that was a big thing about going to Peeples. Not only the positive atmosphere in there, but him wanting you to be happy when you left there, knowing that you were going to go home and have a prosthetic you could go to work with and not have issues down the road or some pains. At Steve's, I always felt like, wow, I just made a lot of progress today, and I'm going to go home with something I can challenge myself with. I'm going to work my butt off and try to walk on slopes, get back in shape, get some muscle built back up, And Steve would always send me home with exercises, so when I came back, he could always see the progress I made, and I think he loves seeing that too. You know, he loves to be able to help people and see that you went home and you came back walking better. There couldn't have been a better place that I picked than Peeples Prosthetics, because the way I just could relate to them and enjoyed visiting with them, and the little changes they could make to make me happy with my prosthetics at the end of the day, they definitely got my life back on the right path.